Hello class. I want to talk about the amplitude of a wave and how it corresponds to the energy it carries. Now, what do I mean by it carries energy? Well, in addition to the transfer of matter, the transfer of matter can be thought of as doing work. Well, waves also do work depending on their amplitude. And this is true for all kinds of waves, whether you're talking about light or sound. And your book does a neat drawing where there's this wave here, and like there could be like some sort of weight. So as the wave propagates, you have this sort of amplitude here where displacement is at its peak, and that can be the range of motion that the weight ends up being moved. So like we know, work is equal to force times distance. So that distance being displaced ends up being work, so the amplitude corresponds to the energy of the wave. And there's actually a mathematical relationship between those two properties. Your book says it can be shown that the energy transmitted by a mechanical wave is proportional to the square of the wave's amplitude. So give yourself a second, but see if you could think of a way to show that mathematically. And you can pause the video, but I want to give you a chance to maybe write down what you think what way you can write down that energy is proportional to the square of the wave's amplitude. Okay, so moving on, if you've had some time to try to answer that, the energy carried by a wave or transported by a wave is proportional to the square of the amplitude. And that's what this little symbol here means. This little alpha stretched out like that. Energy is proportional to amplitude squared. That's true for all kind of mechanical waves. Now, when we're talking about sound, the energy of sound that it carries, well, the amplitude of a sound wave relates to the variations in air pressure, whether you're talking about compressions or rarefactions. So a lot of times we think of the loudness of the sound as how much energy it carries. And then for light is also a wave. Well, the amplitude of a light wave, or the energy that it carries, we call that intensity, or it can be thought of as the brightness. So just like in that black body spectrum assignment, something producing a lot of energy can appear very bright in the night sky. So anyway, that's all for today. Get ready for the next video.